You thought I forgot about making this? Nope, I had to focus on my fall semester class, which kept postponing the production of this video. Obviously, college is more important. But now that it's over, I'm back and ready to review my predictions for this year's NASCAR season. I just hope I got more than 6 right, since last year's predictions were a disaster. But without further ado, let's get started. Prediction number 1 in trucks. Carson Hocevar will win 2 races. He ended up earning twice as many wins than I expected. These motorsports are starting to become more dominant than ever before, since Ross Chastain had an amazing season with them in 2019. Let's hope it's like that with Matt Mills and Bailey Curry. They deserve it. Prediction number 2. Hailie Deegan will score 1 top 5 finish. The best she could do was a 6th place finish at Texas. It's a shame because she's in promising strong equipment and can't get the results she wants. Side note, I believe her moving full-time in the Xfinity Series next year is a bit too early if I had to be in her footsteps. Wait until you finally get a win and then you'll move up the ranks. Prediction number 3. Daniel Dye will win Rookie of the Year. I'm ashamed that I had the smart idea of having him as my rookie pick. I thought GMS Racing was going to be good during its final season, but Grant Enfinger had probably the only dominant truck the team had, and Dye was the second worst performing rookie in the class. Prediction number 4. Kyle Busch will finish in the top 3 in all 5 of his Truck Series races. Missed out at Kansas with a 7th place finish. Now that KBM's been bought out by Spire Motorsports, I don't know what to expect from this team. Sure, they've had 2 wins, but it's mostly hit or miss, just like Chase Purdy. But I wish them the best for their first full-time truck season. And prediction number 5. The Championship 4 will consist of Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Zane Smith, and Grant Enfinger. At least half of it was correct. Side note, the truck race at Phoenix was an absolute disaster and a perfect example on how not to run a season finale. Another reason why I'm against the playoffs is it's nothing but a luck-based gimmick no matter how dominant you are. Corey Heim should have gotten a win if not for him clashing with Hocevar and focusing more on the rivalry instead of the championship. Utterly disappointing. Now, for Xfinity Series predictions. Prediction number 1. There will be a grand total of 4 first-time winners. It looked like that would be the case following Sam Mayer's first win, but then Riley Herbst dominates at Vegas and ruins another chance at a checkmark. Speaking of Riley, prediction number 2. Riley Herbst will win twice. He came so close to having a back-to-back win at Homestead, but again, I thought he was going to win much earlier than Vegas now that he had a teammate that could help him. Now, I don't know how Stewart-Haas Racing will do next year. The Cup team is in shambles and all their major sponsors are moving. The Xfinity team might just be their only saving grace. Prediction number 3. All 4 full-time junior motorsports cars will win at least once each. You do not want to know how disappointed I was when I found out this wasn't going to be true, more so with Josh Berry. Also, I hyped up Brandon Jones so much when it was announced that he would be with Junior Motorsports that it ended up backfiring very, very badly. Case in point, prediction number 4. The Championship 4 will consist of Cole Custer, Brandon Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, and Justin Allgaier. The big 3 were no-brainers, but the inclusion of Brandon Jones has aged like milk according to a comment on my original video. He didn't even make the playoffs, the sole Junior Motorsports entry, and you'd think he'd add on to his winning experience with JGR. And prediction number 5, Brandon Jones will win the championship. This has got to be the worst take I have ever had regarding his performance with Junior Motorsports. I mean, he won a couple of times with Gibbs, so I thought the success would carry over to this team, but no, he doesn't even make the playoffs. And finally, my 25 predictions for the Cup Series. Prediction number 1. The front row for the Daytona 500 will not feature a Hendrick Motorsports entry. They swept it again. I swear, they must have the best qualifying setup each year when they go out for the first time. Prediction number 2. One car from both Gibbs and Hendrick will miss the playoffs. One too many regarding Hendrick, and I hate having to make it so these predictions are exact. It just wasn't a year Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman wanted. Prediction number 3. Chevrolet will win the most races. Again. And just like last year, my first correct prediction is for the Cup Series, with Chevy taking home 18 wins or half the season. I expect them to be a dominant force to be reckoned with next year and pretty much the year after. Prediction number 4. Ross Chastain will not make the Final Four. His average stats were not as good as last year, but his early wreck at Talladega pretty much sealed his fate. Consistency can only last for so long. Okay, I just realized something while editing this video. It turns out I misspoke in the original upload when I said that Chastain wouldn't make the round of 4. What I meant to say was that he wouldn't make the round of 8. I still consider that a correct prediction regardless, since both of them ended up coming true, but I can just imagine the next time I slip up, it's gonna cost me a checkmark. Prediction number 5. There will be a combined total of 14 different winners throughout the season. Once again, off by 1. Surprised that Chase Elliott was not one of those 15 drivers that went to victory lane, and more surprised that Shane Van Gisbergen managed to win in the best Cup debut in modern history. Might as well call SVG the Street Slayer from now on. Prediction number 6. Both full-time rookies will go winless. It ended up being a steep learning curve for those two drivers. The closest either of them got to winning was Ty Gibbs at the Bristol Night Race, and for Noah Gragson, the weak performance Legacy Motor Club had just about shows how disappointing his season was, not including what happened to him later on. Prediction number 7. AJ Allmendinger and Chase Elliott will each win on one road course. For a while, I thought it would be the other way around and see only Chase Elliott winning. In that case, this season would have ended on a high note. And now it's being announced that Allmendinger will head back to the Xfinity Series instead of being in the car for another year, which does not make any sense. The rumor happens to be true. Ty Dillon would not be my first choice. Prediction number 8. Kyle Busch will win 3 times in his new number 8 Chevy. Well, I sure didn't expect them all to take place in the first half of the season. Well, now that I think about it, I feel like Kyle Busch is going to have hit or miss seasons for the rest of his career. He's now the most senior full-time driver when it comes to tenure in the Cup Series, and his team may perform terribly. It might be the luck of the draw for him next season. Prediction number 9. Ryan Preece will finish higher in points than Chase Briscoe. Stewart Haas was not a threat at all this year, but at least I managed to keep an eye on the standings. The only thing that kept Preece ahead of Briscoe was the massive point penalty the latter had earlier in the season. Prediction number 10. Jimmy Johnson will score only 1 top 10. Yikes. Just yikes. All 3 of his finishes were DNFs. I feel bad for him, especially considering what happened in his private life a couple months ago. Prediction number 11. 2 Joe Gibbs cars will finish higher in points than Kyle Busch. You know how I always say I have to be 100% accurate in order to get these right? I'm always tough against myself with these rules I make up. Truex ended the season in 11th, the last of the 3 Gibbs cars in the playoffs, who all finished ahead of 14th place Kyle Busch. Prediction number 12. Ty Gibbs will get in a fist fight with another driver during or after a race. After last year's Xfinity season, it would seem the most logical, as he's only in the Cup Series because he's been getting the best equipment in the Xfinity Series, and he's Joe's grandson, and he happened to replace Kyle Busch after another loss of sponsorship. But in reality, it was the other rookie who made the bad decision to try and intimidate Ross Chastain at Kansas. Prediction number 13. Brad Keselowski will break his losing streak and win twice. At some points he came so close to winning, like in Atlanta in March of the Daytona Night Race, but I won't lose hope for him anytime soon. RFK Racing is having a massive resurgence thanks to those wins by Chris Buescher, and Keselowski's next win is sure to happen sooner or later. Prediction number 14. Noah Gragson will be the highest finishing rookie in 15 races. Only 3 times, and to add insult to injury, he doesn't even complete his rookie season. What happened to Legacy Motor Club since Jimmy Johnson joined the team? Let's hope the switch to Toyota changes their luck around. Prediction number 15. Besides the Daytona 500, 2 other races will reach the maximum 40-car limit. I hope that those 2 races would be on road courses, since there was a bunch of competition for those types of races last year, but it turns out the 500 was the only race with a full car field. Prediction number 16. All 4 Stewart-Haas cars will be shut out of the playoffs. I have to give Kevin Harvick credit for racing his way in during the final season. Thought his Cup career would end on a high note, but now we got 4 young guns taking control of the team. It's not going to be the same without a talented veteran and major sponsors that have left to other teams. I mean, we got Busch Light at Trackhouse and Hutt Brothers with Team Penske. What's next? Prediction number 17. 2 drivers will miss more than 1 race in a row due to injury. Hey, at least I didn't say those injuries would occur during NASCAR races, so that's a plus. Now, I just want to say this. I do not wish for drivers to get injured. Wishing and predicting are 2 completely different things. I only thought of this because of what happened to Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman last year, and had doubts about the safety of these next-gen cars. Prediction number 18. Tyler Reddick will make the round of 12 and finish in the top 12 in points. Managed a 6th place points finish and even made it to the round of 8. A better season for Reddick overall despite having 1 less win than last year. Prediction number 19. 4 disqualifications will occur, all of them being in separate races. The only disqualification that happened was after Kevin Harvick's initial runner-up finish at Talladega. Even during his swan song, he can't avoid having bad luck. And then there was this one time Blaney got disqualified at Vegas and NASCAR suddenly reversing the ruling. I have no idea what that was all about. An issue with the damper template, what I'm reading? I don't know. Prediction number 20. 3 races will end up being finished the next day. A reasonable prediction, but I ended up being off by 1 once the race in Michigan finished. Prediction number 21. There will be an announcement that FedEx will leave Joe Gibbs Racing at the end of the season. With there being more races that Sport Clips and Mavis tires and brakes appeared on the car, I thought the announcement would happen eventually. I mean, FedEx is a big company, but no, it looks like it'll be on the car for another year. Maybe after that, they'll leave the sport? Prediction number 22. The playoffs will consist of Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, AJ Allmendinger, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and Daniel Suarez. 11 out of 16 correct regarding that yearly prediction, with the inclusion of both Austins aging poorly. I thought Allmendinger and Elliott would win in the regular season and make it in as a result, and Suarez getting in via points. Oh, and if only I kept Ricky Stenhouse Jr. from last year's hypothesis. Prediction number 23. The 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion will not, I repeat, not win the season finale at Phoenix. It's been 9 years. I want somebody else winning for a change. Finally, the racing gods have answered my prayers. I don't care if a win from someone outside the Final Four gets overshadowed by the Cup champion. At least something else happened. The only problem I have with this is it didn't get as much coverage I expected. Maybe just like 1/3 would have focused on Ross Chastain and Victory Lane, and then we cut to Ryan Blaney celebrating the Cup championship. Prediction number 24. Half of the Final Four will consist of 2 drivers from the same team. That happened with Hendrick Motorsports, and the only 2 cars from that team that ended up making the playoffs. They continue to reign supreme as always, even though they didn't end up winning the championship. And as for the Daytona 500 prediction, I expected to be wrong again, which I was, but what I didn't expect was that same pick winning the championship. This has never happened to me, and based on that, I think I might have to turn it up a notch and predict a champion for next year as well. And my scorecard says I got 9 correct, so my mission of getting more predictions right than last year has succeeded. That means this series continues for another year, so in January, get ready for more predictions that are sure to age terribly. Yeah!